everyone, welcome to the first official episode of the Kickasserole. I'm Emily and
I'm Cassie.
over there. And does it show up the same way on your video?
It does. You're actually here. Look. Your hand.
Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry.
We're doing virtual podcasting for a little while because COVID, and we just thought that this would be the best way for us to get together without actually getting together. So if there are any weird sounds, if there's any random lagging, please give us grace. We're trying to figure this out too as we learn how to navigate this world.
Yes, complain directly to Zoom for any and all of that.
Yeah, we are not sponsored either. So, obviously.
Not yet. Sponsored by this cup of water.
Right.
Okay, so today on our first episode, and actually our first kind of series, is going to be all about social media. We're going to give some good high-level overviews of some of the platforms. In this episode, we're going to focus on Facebook and Instagram, which are owned by the same company, so it fits. We're going to have Cassie take the lead on this one, since she is our social media guru. Cassie, over there.
I don't know about it being much of a guru, but I know things, a few things.
People throw that word around all the time now, so.
I don't know if I'm qualified, but I like it. I do, and I'm a big fan of Facebook and Instagram. I am the chief content creator for North of 8 Design and Marketing, as well as co-owner. And what that means is I wear a lot of hats, but in it, social media is one of those big hats that I wear and I manage for a lot of our clients. And it's something that I'm super passionate about because it is super important. And of all the platforms, two of my favorite are Facebook and Instagram. So they're kind of my babies. I love Facebook for the engaging content, and I love Instagram for the amazing quality of photos because I am also the photographer on staff too. So I'm on Instagram quite often for happiness.
Yeah, you do all of that stuff and I just take naps.
No, that's not true at all. But I'm a big fan of both platforms. I think they're both very important and they work in very different ways if you're trying to reach certain audiences. I think it's kind of important to have Facebook overall. If you are going to start with social media anywhere, if you're a startup business, establishing your Facebook page is a must. The others you can add on in time, but starting somewhere and doing that one thing really good is how you're going to progress into these other social media outlets as well. So, yeah.
And Facebook is sort of, I mean, it's definitely the aging social media, just in terms of like how long it's been around, also the folks who use it. But whether or not people want to admit it, they are mostly on Facebook. So if you have an audience, if you're trying to sell something, if you're trying to, sell a service, any of that, chances are that audience can be found on Facebook.
Right, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that Facebook has a lot of staying power. And I like to think of them kind of in terms of Disney right now, is that they are able to do pretty much whatever they want because people will pay for everything that they have to offer. Businesses and people trying to get through advertising, because the advertising on Facebook is so much cheaper than most other platforms, which we'll talk about later as well, that pretty much we're at the hands and will of Facebook. Instagram is now under the same umbrella, so both of which are going to be very strong platforms moving forward over the next few years at least, for clients to get on. So I think it's very important that if you haven't claimed your username or your account yet, do it before somebody else does, because that can be a mess otherwise.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I am a small business and I don't have a marketing team. I don't have, anything for a budget, any of that. Your suggestion is to just start with Facebook.
Start with Facebook, build it out, and really do your best to update the content frequently. And so one thing we do whenever we onboard a new client is I go through and do a Facebook audit. And that is where I go through and I check that description. I check those hours, check the cover photo to make sure that, if it's a seasonal photo, it goes with what season that we're actually in, and check all of those important things to make sure that you have a solid base. And then just start posting. It's free to post to Facebook. However, when you are posting organic content, which is that content you don't pay for, your viewers, your followers are only going to see less than 5% of that content. Really, it's closer to 2%, which is really sad. It's shrinking as the days go on. And that's because Facebook is shifting to more to a pay-to-play kind of thing. And so if you can dedicate some kind of an ad spend, that is the best. But if you are just trying to get your feet wet, get online, get to posting, just something every week. If you can do more than once a week, that's great too. But just commit to doing some kind of post every week. And we can talk more about posting too here shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's something, you know, and I've been guilty of this too. Like I just think, oh, we need to be on this platform, and Cassie sort of has to reel me in sometimes. But the best thing to do, like she said, is decide what platform you can be on and what platform you can do really well, and then focus on building that out before you add on. And that's been really great for a lot of our clients.
Absolutely. And I think too, like with the advertising, Facebook, it doesn't take a lot of money to be effective. You can have $5 and put it toward an ad and make some money off of it. And so what's really cool and what I really, really, really love about Facebook, as much as we have like this love-hate thing, you know, learning algorithms and whatnot, but one thing that I really, really enjoy is the fact that when you advertise, you can target and be very, very specific. And so you can break things down. I mean, as I'm sure you already know, if you've ever scrolled through your Facebook, about every 2 posts, you get to see a sponsored post, which is an ad on Facebook. And it's usually directed, you know, specifically towards you. I'm talking to you, a July baby that's a Leo that's involved in web design, and you have this cool t-shirt from, you know, Burnett County, Wisconsin. Like,
That's almost me.
that's pretty much the ads I see. Other or some that are just really, really specific based on, you know, what I was looking for that day on the internet. So Facebook is really, really good about having options for your advertising when it comes to really making it a specific audience. So it is very good, regardless of your budget.
Yeah. And generally with digital advertising, the more targeted you can be, the smaller your audience, the better you can speak to that person, the more successful you'll be.
Absolutely. And
So Facebook tools.
Yep. With Instagram too, it's kind of the same boat. You can advertise on both Facebook and Instagram. They even have ways to shop directly from ads, which is like by seeing an image and you can click on the image and it takes you directly to the product link. Those are really cool things that you can do with social media, and then I definitely recommend looking more into, which we can hit on more in the future too. But one thing I really want to talk about today is scheduling and posting consistently, because again, if you're not doing it on a regular basis, then you're not achieving the purpose of what social media is for. And it's for building relationships. It's for showing people relevant and engaging content that is up to date and changing and growing with your business, because as everything right now, it's changing on almost a daily basis. And so your people, your customers, your followers, they need to be up to date on what's going on. And it's showing now that more people tend to go directly to social media than they do to internet to search for a certain business, whichever industry it may be in. And so you need to make sure that you have your business claimed and that you're posting on it. So scheduling posts and posting weekly is something that's very, very important. And there are a number of ways to do that.
Absolutely. That's my phone. We're just gonna answer this really fast and you're gonna cut it out. Hey, can I call you back in a little bit?
No, there's a lady at the bottom, so there's a gift certificate here for her.
I don't know who that is. Okay, so I kind of wanted to kick off the Instagram side of things, and I know Cassie is the photographer, and she does all of our clients' social media, and she's a rock star at it. But something interesting that came up for me was, so I have a younger sister, and she's, you know, awesome and beautiful, and she spends money like she has it.
Don't we all?
Right. We could say that like it's a bad thing. That's my whole life. And she was mentioning how like she was trying to find somewhere to go get her hair done. And the first place that she looks is actually Instagram. And she looks at the feed itself. So she'll like she'll search through Instagram. So it's sort of funny how Google has become like a verb instead of, it's like Kleenex. We use it. Really. But she'll use Instagram to search through and find different services. So the other day she was looking for somewhere to get her hair done, and she got a referral from a friend. The first thing she did was hop onto their Instagram, and they weren't keeping their page up to date, and the photos had like a lot of, I'll post it in the show notes because she sent me screenshots. Had like a lot of text heavy images. The stories weren't great. She actually ended up going to a competitor of theirs who had, really clean, beautiful Instagram board. Their stories were set up really well because she said, what did she say? She said like she knows that they're with the times, they're up to date. If they're spending time on Instagram, they're probably pretty cool people. And she could see right away the type of work that they did. So I'm just sort of interested. She's, I think, 23. So I'm kind of interested on what you think about that, Cassie, and the importance of Instagram in growing a business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great place, especially for creators or designers or people in the hair industry, to show off and display their work in a way that people are going to see it, and that's going to capture their eye and make them kind of have like that dreamy, I want that too. And that's kind of a thing with Instagram, is that everybody, we see these perfect lives lived on Instagram. Nobody's Instagramming their, bad haircut. They're not Instagramming a bad experience. Like, Instagram's about like sharing the good in your life and the positive, uplifting, the pretty, the perfect, the perfectly posed, and the artsy. And so, that can be kind of unrealistic because that's not how life works. That is what people are looking for when they're looking for through businesses, to see what kind of work they're doing. Are they artsy? Are they successful? Are they creative? Are they using these platforms to really show off the cool stuff that they're doing? It's super important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was really intrigued when she brought that up because I'm older. I got Facebook when it was only college kids could have Facebook.
I wasn't cool enough. Oh, there's my cat. I wasn't cool enough to be on Facebook. I stayed on MySpace for way too long because I refused to switch over once we were like allowed to be on it, because I'm a 94 baby. And so I'm only 26. And so whenever Facebook kind of became a thing for everybody, I was like I'm not going on Facebook. I'm going to stick to MySpace and my like personalized HTML, like coding, like background and my like playlist. I was not.
What song did you have autoplay? What song autoplayed?
What was on my autoplay?
Yeah.
A lot of Simple Plan, probably mixed in with George Strait. Definitely Simple Plan was on there. George Strait, probably Shakira, J-Lo.
Shakira.
Yeah, I was a big fan. So I had like a perfect mix though. It was like, I refused to switch over, but the only reason I did is because all of my friends did, and then I was the only one left. So then I only had the band pages that I followed.
It was just you and Tom.
It was, me and Tom and Simple Plan posting occasionally to their band page. And
honestly, though, like given right now what social media is, doesn't that sound lovely?
It does. And I wish more than anything that Facebook would let us do some HTML coding and have cool background and music on our profile, but whatever. That's why it was for college kids, because I still haven't grown up, but
we digress.
Yeah.
All right.
So on that note, though, it's that social media can change. I mean, MySpace was the place to be for years, and then Facebook became a thing. However, I do believe Facebook has more staying power, and that they are going to just continue to grow, and that, nobody's going anywhere anytime soon. There's always a chance, though, for Facebook to do something that could potentially take away a huge part of your business. And so you need to have backups in other areas, whether it's a website, whether it's an email list, because you truly own those things, versus Facebook, where you don't own those followers, those likes, those engagements, your ads even at times. So you have to be careful when you're, we heard this once from a client, playing in somebody else's sandbox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I actually have, we have a client who, their entire sales process was based on Facebook. And then a couple years ago now, Facebook changed their algorithm, which they do from time to time because it's fun. And they lost a huge percentage of their business. They weren't doing anything different. they changed their algorithm. Their content was being shown less. And it just kind of, it made them retool and rethink. But if you always go into these social medias knowing that like they own it, it's not yours, they're companies, they want your money. So know that, and then protect what you can, which really is your website and your email list, which is so important.
Absolutely. And then just stay up to times with what's changing in the algorithm. For instance, this year, it's very different where video is definitely king. That was not the case years ago. However, video has shifted to king. If you can do live video, that's great too. Groups, Facebook groups are massive. So there's just lots of things that are changing with these algorithm updates that you should stay on top of as you continue to grow your business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I know Cassie spends a lot of time just with continuing education. We're both in a ton of, like, that's funny, Facebook groups.
Yeah.
About marketing and digital advertising. And
I joined another one today. So
fun.
many.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
So there's all that, and then the Instagram side of things is really geared more towards the younger folks. It's the silent generation even who is growing the Facebook reach right now. Growing Facebook's reach right now. The silent generation, I think, is 1945s about then, and it sounds like I should be one of them with the way I just said the Facebook.
I love it.
But Instagram is definitely a younger platform. And then as we move on through these episodes, you'll hear more about, TikTok and Snapchat, which are definitely younger platforms. But just know that even though those folks might not be your audience right now, like maybe the millennials, we're getting older now, but the younger folks, the Gen Z folks might not be your audience now. They will be someday. They will have families. They will hopefully have some expendable income. So getting on those platforms now, even just to claim your name, is really important.
Absolutely. So what would you say would be one of the actionable things that our clients and watchers could do to improve their Facebook and or Instagram?
My thing is, it's a two-parter. Okay. So it's a 1A and a 1B. So we can still call it the one thing. Claim your profiles. Even if you're not going to use them, claim them. And fill them out. Like go through your Facebook profile, make sure all the information is accurate, up to date. Those would be my one things.
I like it. And that's too, it's very helpful to do that, especially when you claim those other social media outlets as well. That not only helps your business just look more legit, it makes it look better in the eyes of Google, which, is a whole nother world.
Yeah, we'll have another podcast series just on Google ranking.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I like it.
Okay, so that, I think, we'll kind of close out this episode on Facebook and Instagram. Again, super high level stuff. We are always here to answer any questions if you guys have them. We have a Facebook group called Marketing in the Northwoods that you can feel free to join. It is a private group, so we will get your invite and then make sure you're a legitimate human and not a Russian robot, because they're so interested in us.
Questions, let us know. Let us know in either a comment or you can email us. You can check out our websites at north8design.com. Just let us know how we're doing.
All right. Thanks, Cassie.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. It's like we miss high fives.
Look at the elbow.